What's up, Otaku's? It's your tour guide here. We're going live on Wednesday night. Um, I've been meaning to put out like a top pickups video, and I thought, I was gonna wait till like June because usually June's the halfway point, midpoint of the year. But and I also was gonna like record a video and then edit it. What's up, Tyler? How you doing, man? Um, Hope everything's good on your end. Yeah, I was gonna kind of record the video, edit it, and do all these things, and then I realized that's gonna take a lot of time. I also don't necessarily have the camera set up to coordinate that, so I figured the best way to do it just go on live, because I have this sort of the setup here through the YouTube live stream where I can easily show the books. So yeah, this is sort of an impromptu. My apologies for not having like the cool little graphics and stuff as we go through the list, but I'm gonna try to keep the count in my head. I don't know how well that's gonna go, but yeah, let me just show you what we're dealing with here as I share my screen. All right, so 2026 has been a fantastic year so far for pickups. And, I sometimes I go back and watch my earlier haul videos. And, you know, back in the day, I'd take like $10 or $20. And I'd really go digging for, I just go digging for stuff I liked. I just pull out a bunch of stuff I liked. And at the time, it was kind of like more Marvel. I don't want to say it was Marvel centered. It was sort of centered on everything I liked, like X-Men, Spider-Man, things from my collecting era. Um, Obviously, it focused a lot on the Copper Age, Copper Age keys and whatnot. And to some, you know, to some extent, um, those kinds of things are still uh, what I like to collect. In terms of my collection, things um, I guess, within the boundaries of what I would keep in my collection. But you know, um, I've always loved Superman, and as time went on, I just started to realize where my sort of heart and passion lie is with Superman books. And last year with the movie coming out, it really just sort of like reignited my passion because there's so many intersections of what I collect. Um, I was collecting Neil Adams, I was collecting Jim Lee, um, and Superman, and all of these things kind of intersect and come together, um, which is what's great. And as I got more into like Neil Adams stuff, I just realized, like, you know what? Like, I really love the. Obviously, Golden Age Superman would be great to collect, but outside of the Golden Age, the Silver Age is has been really where my focus has been as of late. And you'll notice it kind of started toward the end of 2025, or sorry, started toward the end of 2024, um, and it carried over into 2026. And now it's just I've picked up so many um, older Superman books. It's been quite remarkable how your mindset in collecting can shift, and when it does shift, it's like that's kind of where I am right now. I don't know if it'll shift again. I can't make any guarantees, but I definitely when I look at like what I like to collect and what I want to collect, um, it's definitely like books and Superman related books. So that's kind of a lot of what we picked up this year, but we're going to start off with a really great dollar bin pickup. We picked up the silent issue. Now it's as you can see, it's pretty rough around the edges, but it's a complete book. Cover still there attached. Um, there's a kid that wrote all over he like played the games, the Bubble Yum games, and he signed the comic book. I think his name is Randy. Randy's the owner of this previous book, and he just wrote all over it, which is great. It gives the book character. Um, this is really just I love owning copies like this. Just because I have a very specific way of collecting. It's kind of a we call it unmyeong in Korean, and unmyeong is like destiny. What you're destined, you're on a path, right? And you meet people and you experience things that are unique to only you. This is the path each collector takes. You can apply it to life, you can apply it to collecting, you can apply it to really anything related to your timeline. And I kind of keep this YouTube as a video record of what I pick up, where I go, how much I pay, what I pick up. A lot of the stuff I picked up, over the years, a lot of it's gone. Um, we either traded it away, sold it, or um, just gave it away. And what I'm left with is kind of it's evolving. It's ever evolving. I, in fact, I getting ready to purge a lot of books here that I picked up over the years, and I'm gonna try to start getting into some selling. I've been resistant to like selling books and all that, um, but I think it makes sense to pick things up, kind of cheap and try to move things or trade things for more of what you're looking for, getting value, kind of upselling the stuff you pick up to get value for more maybe focused collection pickups. But we're still kind of navigating and figuring that out. I haven't really it's been touch and go. I know I've had some really good trades this year. Part of that is outlined here in this video. Um, but one thing I will say is when you run into like, for example, a dollar book like this, and I'm the kind of collector. This is my favorite comic book of all time. First off, and this just kind of reminds me of the copy I had. Like this kid Randy, he and I probably just read this book to tatters. Um, this was just sort of a nightly ritual when I was in like sixth grade or fifth grade. Because I didn't get this comic book just like right off the comic shelves. Um, I somehow like got a copy of it. Um, right around fifth grade, and I just kept. It was just I just adored this book, and Randy kind of reminds me of like how it's just it's in your room. It's one of your favorite things to open up and read when you're just bored. It was before the advent of like screens and all that. You really had to like get enjoyment out of either television, like with the family, or in your room listening to music and reading books and stuff like that. So this was a total unmyeong fine for $1. I consider myself lucky um, when we can pick up something like this and enjoy the inner workings of this book. Absolute classic story by Larry Hama, The Silent Issue. Um, if you haven't read this, it's a must read in comic books. I don't care what age you collect or how old you are or what. It's it is a must read. And I kind of flipped through the pages and read it when I picked this up. So try to find the video in my backlog, but yeah, kind of read through the book, looked through the panels, and boy, is it great. So yeah, number 26, we have G.I. Joe 21, The Silent Issue. Picked this up for $1 over at Stargazer Comics, and that is number 26 on the list. This was a recent pickup. Jens and I had gone to All American Comics maybe a couple weeks ago, and we were at Ancient Comics, and then we went to All American, kind of as our last stop. And it was Jens' first time in there. But man, we just did a lot of digging and kind of chatted up Jason. He had a bunch of customers coming in and out. Jens and I were kind of just in there for a good hour or so, maybe longer. And we picked up. We didn't pick up a lot, but we picked up a lot of great books. And this is one of the books I picked up. And there's a couple more from this haul that you'll see later in this video. But number 25 is Action Comics 310. It's actually a really nice copy. It's like you can tell it's been pressed. There's just kind of some wear on the edges. Definitely a solid fine copy here. Maybe even a solid fine plus. Depends on how you see all those little color break issues. Yeah, there's not much creasing, but you can see there's, again, it was pressed and there was maybe some light creasing there, but nothing too severe. But yeah, we got this great Kryptonite cover. You get the green, gold, red, white, blue Kryptonite. Great Kurt Swan, Jimmy Olsen, Clark cover here. And I think this is the introduction of one of the, like a new Kryptonite, Rainbow Kryptonite or something like that. It's some kind of key first Kryptonite appearance. But yeah, very happy with this pickup as well. Part of this list, part of the ranking of this list, we try to, it really is around just like kind of the book we like, and it's not necessarily around the grade. But sometimes, the grade and the book kind of play into the rankings as well. So it's not just strict book. Sometimes if the book is presenting really nicely or is in a higher grade, such as this one, um, it'll tend to be kind of favored on the list. But this one definitely is just, uh, you know, a great Silver Age book. And like I mentioned, we've been rather focused on this era and this age of Superman. And we just love pieces like this when we add them. And this is kind of where I am in terms of I want to start picking up things around this condition, and avoid picking up the really beat up, like pieces missing, kind of like the G.I. Joe silent issue. We want to avoid picking up Silver Age that's really rough. But this is an exception to the rule, obviously, for me. All right. But yeah, in terms of Silver Age stuff, we kind of want to focus on things with eye appeal. I should put it, frame it a little better. It can be low grade, but as long as it has eye appeal, I think that's a good place to be. All right. Yeah, case in point, eye appeal. We picked up this one from half. No, where did we pick this up? I think we picked this up from. I think we picked this up from the shop in Tacoma, and it's a rough. Again, this is kind of like where we're at in terms of what we want to pick up. It's got some creasing there. It's got some wear, but it looks fabulous. It's a good, colors vibrant. I mean, you could make the argument it's a fine copy, right? Maybe a VG plus somewhere around there. Um, Nothing terribly. The back's got some. Yeah, the back's pretty clean too. It's a clean book. So again, not terrible. What we have here for number 24 is Adventure Comics 350. This is a key issue. This is yeah, some first appearance. I don't know. I don't know who the characters are. It's the first appearance. It's Supergirl crying, Supergirl and Superboy crying. Um, so yeah, just a great Kurt Swan cover there, um, and a great pickup. So 25 Adventures 350. All right, now this was part of. Um, this was part of our trade with Big B. And really, Big B's trade was really the most significant thing. I don't want to say the most significant thing, it was a significant thing um, that led to this list. In fact, there's a lot of books here from the Big B trade. And then the other part, the reason I didn't give Big B the crown of, kind of biggest influence on the pickups this year is we also had a really major trade with Yens right at the start of the year. So those two trades have really, you'll see as we get going, you'll see kind of how it's impacted this list, especially toward the um, upper, the higher or the more valued, I should say valued, the more revered pickups that we had this year. So, but again, this is part of a trade um, with Big B that we got. Also, just fantastic looking. It does have a color breaking crease. It's about maybe 2 inches. Pretty major defect there, but all in all, everything else is pretty decent outside of that crease. So it's really nice. Back needs a cleaning a little bit. Could benefit from a clean, probably benefit from a press, but all in all, fantastic. So this is the first battle between Wonder Woman and Supergirl. Irv Novick on this cover. It's a fantastic, fantastic piece of comic cover art there. And that is number 24. No, wait, 26, 25, 24, 23. That was number 23. Number 22, we have Superboy 61. This is from 1957. And I just love these, like, kind of period, you get a sense of, like, what the time was like just through the incredible artwork here by Kurt Swan. But you get this school for Superboys. The Superboy is the teacher. It's giving them lessons on how to be a good hero, I guess. But yeah, just fantastic. Um, and yeah, I was mentioning before, it can be low grade, but we wanted something that even in low grade kind of just presents really nicely. And this one is exemplary. It's got obviously a tear there. There's a tear, a little chunk missing, but in terms of the eye appeal, it's localized to the edges, and the central image there just looks fantastic. So yeah, I mean, I picked this up for what? I think it was $5 or something like that from Subspace Comics. Um, and yeah, it was a pretty good deal, I thought, for $5. So really happy with this pickup as well. 10 center there. All right, that was 22. And book number 21 is actually really a really decent grade. I'm going to take it out of the case here just so you can get a good look at it. But it's a black cover here, and it does have some, like, color break on the edges. It's got some wear, but outside of the spine, there's a subscription crease. It's barely. I mean, it's there, but it's not that noticeable. But this is the first appearance of the Fatal Five. This is a major key here. And I'm just kind of surprised at how undervalued this book is when you consider it's one of the major Legion of Superhero villain. It's like probably the main team. Kind of a team arch nemesis here. And this Fatal Five, they make multiple appearances throughout the DC continuity. So yeah, you got major first appearance issue. Still a rather affordable book in high grade, but yeah, I forget what we paid for this. I think we paid $8 for this copy, and it just looks fantastic. You can probably tell. Show you the back. It looks really, really, really nice. So really happy with this pickup. Again, major first key here. Probably should be higher on the list given it's a significant book plus the condition, but I have it here at 21. This is our 21 on the list. Adventure Comics 352 First appearance of Fatal Five. That's a good book right there. All right. We are slowly moving up the list. Number 20, we've got Jimmy Olsen, number 25. And this is a 10-cent cover. And this is also one we picked up. Where did we pick this up? We picked this up from Comics the Gathering, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Picked it up from Comics the Gathering at a ridiculously low price. I mean, this thing was like, let's say like $2 or something. I forget. I got to go back and watch my video. But hey, what's up, Ron? um, Picked this up for like, I want to say $4 maybe. It was under five. It's like $4 or something. Very decent condition too. I'm not going to show you the back because it's sort of double. You know, it's in this top loader we've double-sided the inside of this top loader, but I mean you can tell like it's got a major crease along there, and there's some staple tear issues, some staining at the top. But look how beautifully it presents. Oh my goodness. So yeah, this is there are some books where like that previous it's like right the colors are vibrant, it's still intact. For example, there's a book like this which is a major first appearance with Fatal Five, really key first appearances here on that team. And but you look at the book and you're just kind of like, yeah, cool book, right? Cool key book, nothing wrong with that. But you look at a book like this, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but when I look at this book, I just it just it just takes my breath away. It's just a piece of it's a simple cover, but it just in one frame, in one panel, and a series of word bubbles, you just get uh, the you get a sense of like who these characters are, their relationship. It just captures the Daily Planet office here. Obviously, Clark is part of this team, but he's just standing there as Superman. But it paints this great scene. They just don't know who this kid Jimmy is. And for me, like a book like this is far more it's just cooler than that previous book we looked at, which has the first appearance, key first appearance and all that. And again, given the eye appeal of this book, it really is just this probably should be higher on the list. And yeah, this is just it's like turning into like just one of my favorite books. Just love everything about the layout of the book, the colors, um, and look at their clothes. Look at that is look at that. It's like it's not check. What do you call that? It's like a diamond pattern jacket. Like who wears stuff like that? Jimmy Olsen. But Lois is looking just fabulous in her green dress. Perry White looks very sharp in his suit. And this was a very, just, the 50s were just a very stylish, sharp looking era where everybody just wore walked around in suits, I guess. different time. But yeah, Jimmy's in a sports jacket and and Perry's in a probably a double-breasted three-piece suit there. So fantastic stuff. All right, this also is in rough condition. I think we paid like $2 for this one, which is ridiculous to me that I could get a book from 19, what is this, 57, 50, 56 or 57, a single digit Lois Lane for $2, right? That's just seems. It was either four, but I got to go back and watch. But it was like I got one of these books for like super cheap. One of the other ones for $5. I think this was $2 because again, um, we got. I think we have a little bit of a staple, pop staple there. Nothing. We got like chunks missing out of the book there, so it's like maybe a little bit detached there. That got some chunks missing there. This is obviously a very low grade book, but like I said, it has really great eye appeal. It's got a crease there, which kind of breaks color, but you can't really see it all that. I mean, I'm sure there's things we could do to improve that, like kind of there's some embedded dirt in there, creating like a darker line, but maybe we could create get rid of the line, um, press it, clean it. Sure, there's some things that can be done, but really the appeal of this book is again in the image here, and we have this great wrestling scene from the 50s, and we got like Iron Sheik versus John Cena in a Superman suit. This is the ugly Superman, who's the wrestler, and Lois is just infatuated with the ugly Superman, the plug ugly Superman. Great Scott! Lois has fallen in love with a plug ugly wrestler who is a comic imitation of me. Yeah, um, that's just fantastic stuff right there. So yeah, even though it's in rough shape, I mean, think just consider the age of this book, the fact that we have it here, it looks fantastic. Um, Great wrestling cover there, absolutely phenomenal. So let's see here. I've lost the count already. I think this is number 19, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going to do a quick count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That makes this 18. Sorry. This is book number 18. Lois Lane, number 8. And I just realized something here. This is one of our pickups from last year, so this doesn't apply. So what I'm going to do real quickly is pull out the other book here. Just a moment. It's over here somewhere. Oh, well, what about this book? This is a nice book here. So, number 17. Mm-hmm. Let me just check one last one here. All right, well, I can't. Oh, no, here we go. All right. All right, forget this book. Sorry. Um, all right, where were we? We're on number 17 on the list. 17 on the list is Superman 261, this classic Nick Carty cover. Um, this is another one. We picked this up for $5, and again, I think with some TLC, this could look a whole lot better. Because, mind you, a lot of the issues here are kind of, I think, with a press and a nice clean, we could get this looking fantastic. There's not a lot of color break in this on this cover, except like right there. Does have a really rounded, kind of beat up corner there. Um, but again, the image, the colors. Um, this is one that, again, with some TLC could really pop. Now, the interior of this book, some young lady, her name is, I think, Mary Caitlin. Mary Caitlin took like a marker and just wrote her name right at the top margin here in the first page of the book. I don't even, maybe you could see it probably through the cover. Maybe not. Well, that's fortunate because it's just really, you can kind of probably see it right there. You can, the top of the book, that I think is like the marker name there. But fortunately, you can't see it through the cover of the book. That's a good thing. But yeah, she, this is another one of those loved books. Kids writing their names in the books. But yeah, I was just ecstatic to get it because, again, eye appeal. Um, we didn't pay a lot for it, and just feels like I don't, you know, this copy is good enough. I don't feel compelled to get a higher grade copy than this. This is my copy. This is my Unmyeong copy. Remember that word Unmyeong. Come up a lot. Every book you pick up is your Unmyeong book. Just consider it that way. Like, you don't you go out, you don't know what you're going to run into. You don't know what you're going to pick up. Like, now some of us have a list, and some of us just throw down whatever money, buy it off eBay. Some of us collect that way, right? Just get a 9/8 slab off of eBay, pay whatever fair market value is, or maybe a little under, um, and you get the book. That's not, I mean, I do that occasionally, but that's not how I operate when I go out with money, a budget, and I go out hunting for books. whether it's at the LCS, whether it's at a comic show, whether it's maybe just meeting people and trading. But this definitely, yeah, Young book because we didn't go into the show last weekend looking for this. It was on our radar. It was on our wish list. In fact, Big B has a nice high grade copy of this. Should I want a high grade copy of this down the road? But when I was digging this weekend and ran into this book, um, I was really kind of like thoughtful about, okay, if we can get this for $5, I would definitely do that. So we made an offer and we got it. So again, fantastic looking book, great eye appeal, and again, we got an opportunity here to really make this book pop by putting some TLC into the book. So there you go. That is number 17. We are on to number 16. And this one is another one of those. Um, First off, if you've been watching my channel, you know how much I collect Super Baby. I love me a Super Baby book, especially a Super Baby cover. There are a lot of Super Baby stories just kind of speckled here and there. Um, and Super Baby really kind of became its own thing, you know, kind of in the latter part of the Golden Age, but then really just like became this motif throughout the Silver Age, even through the Bronze Age. Um, Super Baby was just his own character, right? You just get this like Super Baby kind of terror, kind of like Crypto, just terrorizing, uh, not knowing any better, but just like destroying things and terrorizing things. But this one hits different. It's Super Baby without powers, and this is Jarrell um, test test flying the rocket that he's developed in preparation of saying goodbye to his son. So there's a real kind of um, there's a real heaviness to this cover. Um, I mean, there's nothing because usually Silver Age, Superman, Superboy, whatever covers. There's something ridiculous going on. There's something usually like funny or um, something fantastical, something like kind of just out of the ordinary, like a character, like you know a new you know nemesis or threat, and there's some kind of fighting going on or some kind of reveal. Um, but this is just really just sort of a muted kind of origin cover. Everybody knows the origin of Superman, but this is an origin book um, where they kind of feature what's going on prior to the events that lead up to the destruction of the planet, and of course Kal-El, the only son, the last son of Krypton, being rocketed toward Earth. Um, but yeah, you get this sort of like very kind of stressful situation for the baby here. Like his dog's being put in a rocket. No one's happy about it. Um, Jarrell though needs to test the rocket, to ensure that his son would survive. And the mother's obviously just like, what is the point of all this? You know, she's not fully understanding kind of the finality of what this rocket represents. And yeah, you know, just I just love this book. And again, it's not everybody. You know, there's books that are just going to be, oh, that's cool. You know, like wow, neat cover, neat book. Then there's some books that just really like um, speak to you, or you know, they just they register on another level. And this is one of those books for me. And yeah, we got this also from Jason's. I forget what we paid for it, but we got a really good bundled deal on this. And as you can see, great eye appeal on a really 10-cent late 50s book. Um, yeah, fantastic pickup there. I think I put this grade at like a VG, um, but it just presents. I don't know. It presents way better, and it's got this cool, got even a cool like little comic book stamp there. Love stuff like that. So yeah, you got crypto. This is essentially kind of like I don't know. You know, this kind of reminds you of like what you may see in maybe the Supergirl movie. I don't know because obviously crypto's with her, and I'm sure accompanies her to Earth in the James Gunn timeline, but the original timeline, you know, crypto just what is it like? Crypto, I think he he's a stowaway on the rocket. And anyway, I don't know how they incorporate that story, but I gotta review it. But I think he's a stowaway, where he comes with, he just comes late. I don't know, in his own rocket or something. Something strange, but uh, maybe I should read this book. All right. What do we got? What do we got going here now? We got, let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I've lost count. I want to say we're on number. I'll just say we're on number 15. That was 15. This is 14. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Otaku, you have this book already. Yes. Roger uh, worked on uh, one of our copies of this book, made it absolutely fantastic looking. But during my trade with Biggie, uh, Psychotronic Skirk one, aka Aaron, um, what's up? Yeah, I know I got another one of these. So my previous copy has had a big water stain, and when we sent it to Roger to kind of work on, um, he made the stain look a lot less uh, severe, but it was still like you could. It was there. It kind of I don't know. It just sort of faded the book a little bit. It looked a little faded on that in that area, as well as there were some like corner issues. Um, so I, you know, as great as a great of a job as Roger did on that book, and it looks fantastic. It did have some issues, and again, I was never thinking of like picking this book up or doing anything like that. I was happy with my previous copy. But then, yeah, again, Aaron Psychotronic Squirt Gun came to the trade with me and Biggie. Biggie and I had already conducted our trade, and but Aaron came and he had this short box of Superman books, and I was digging through there because he's open to trading from whatever I had picked up that day, and I saw this book in there, and this is much better conditioned book in terms of the spine, the color, the back looks really fantastic. Even the corner issues are much better than my previous copies. So I got really just a kind of an upgrade in terms of the condition. Um, yeah, I mean, this is, I would say, a full grade better because it doesn't have any of those like water stain issues. So, yeah, again, uh, very happy with both copies. Probably going to keep both copies because one's just a sentimental favorite. I don't mind having multiple copies of this book. But yeah, this is a pickup from this year and definitely just ranks up there because of how, I mean, it's an iconic book. It's a wraparound flight issue by Neil Adams. About as iconic of an image as you can get. This flight pose is just, it's copied in the Superman movie. Christopher Reeve basically uh, copies this flight pose for his role in the film. And yeah, what more can you say? It's an iconic book. All right, that is number 14. And we're getting down to the last, uh, almost the top 10 here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We got 15 books. That means we've shown off. So we're on 15, not 14. Okay, so this is 15. And let's hang on here. I gotta. Yeah. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. This is how we'll do it. All right, so this is 15, number 15 on the list. We just picked this up fresh off the press from uh, FenCon Expo. Great little show here in our neck of the woods. Was really just um, was really just surprised with how many community members I ran into, and just the vendors. Obviously, I've built some relationships with the vendors that are there, um, but uh, also with the collectors that showed up. So it's a really great, just great. It was just great to like be there and just like run into familiar faces, chat, and you know, um, I think we're just a small community or collective of people, but there are enough people that collect comic books where you don't necessarily build a relationship. You don't have to if you don't want to, but um, for me, it's kind of cool that through my channel and through just being out there hunting for books and sparking conversations and getting to know people, you meet a lot of great people. And this one here, anyway, it's I love, this is another book I just absolutely um, I love. I love, and it's a weird kind of awkward. kind of almost like inappropriate type book. But first off, we know Superman is an adult, and Supergirl is in like she's in like middle school. Okay, she's underage. But anyway, in this issue, Superman's kind of tempting fate by there's like a forbidden love going on here between him and Kara. He has these like he's attracted to her. He has these feelings for her, like deep feelings that go beyond the family bonds, if you get what I mean. And there's again America. Its history. Um, they didn't necessarily have laws that prevented you from marrying your first cousin and having a bunch of kids with your first cousin. And these laws would come into existence in the 19th century, or sorry, in the 20th century. And the 20th century, yeah, like it was even late in the 20th century that you had some of these, because like polygamy and things like this, they continue to exist even in my lifetime in some states. Um, but anyway, this was it's a weird one. It's like he's having these like urges to love his underage cousin. And so Kara's like, hey, you know what? And she's very innocent about it. She's like, well, I should find someone that Cal can be with. He just seems so lonely, like Lois isn't really reciprocating and all this stuff or whatever. But yeah, she goes and finds uh, this Luma Lanai, and she is like the adult clone of apparently the adult clone of Supergirl. It's kind of looked like what she'd look like when she grew up, and Superman's just like, okay, you will do. You're the adult version. Let me get with you. So it's just a funny. It's a funny situation. It's a funny. Again, they're presenting this to kids. Like kids, hey kids, man, you may have feelings for your cousin. Just don't act on your feelings, especially if you're older and she's much younger. So there you go. Superman Super Courtship is number 15 on the list. We're having a good time, aren't we, guys? All right. Um, we have an American flag cover here coming up. Also part of my trade with Big B. This is a Golden Age book. We don't have too many of the Golden Age books, and this is a fine copy for a Golden Age. It's really high, like a solid, maybe mid to high grade copy here. Fine plus. Um, Not much wrong with the book. There's a little color break toward the center there, but really negligible. Look how fantastic the spine color. Again, from 1955. You got just get a little taste of the small town courtroom here. The American flag hanging. Great. Junior jury of Smallville. I love how if you have like because junior delinquents, they give you a jury of your peers, so you gotta get a junior jury. And yeah, this is when who is this? Who drew this cover? I'm trying to think here. I think it's John Cicala. John Cicala cover here on Adventure Comics. Fantastic, fantastic. All right. That was number 14. We got number 13. All right. This one is just fantastic because we've got the. This is a reprint of the Justice League, the first issue, or the sorry, this is from Brave and the Bold. So it's the first appearance of the Justice League, first appearance of Starro, really key book, and they reprinted here in this issue with all these other Justice League keys. But yeah, you get this great sort of that's a book we'll never own, but we get to own like kind of like a reprinted version of it here on Justice League 39, 25-cent, 80-page giant. Yeah, really, really nice condition too. Um, really great pickup here. This is also part of the trade from Big B, so this one was just fantastic to pick up. So love it. Yeah, you got all this great sort of cover art from the three comic books featured here. So you got all these like side stories. You got super villains, right? You get the superheroes, the Justice League. Fantastic stuff. All right, that is number 13. We're counting down. This is number 12. And I really love this book. Um, this is also we picked up recently from All American Comics. Jason hooked us up again. Really nice condition on this book, as you can tell. Yeah, there's just not a lot. Uh, I mean, I would put this as high as like a VF copy. I mean, it really does. It's got some. Yeah, I'd still put it at a VF copy. It's got a little bit of staple. Look at staple. What would you call it? Stress along the staple there too. But all in all, it still looks fantastic. Here's the back. Clean. The corners are sharp. Great looking book. So yeah, Lois Lane 53 out of focus for you guys, but there we go. Yeah, Super Kisses from Superman for charity, $1, and Lois is ripping up all her tickets, going very jealous because all the ladies getting smoochy with Superman here, but just love this Kurt Schaffen. I mean, this is just classic stuff right here. Schaffenberger, Lois Lane. Look at all the detail on this cover. Tickets being ripped up. Man, that's yeah, that's some good stuff right there. That is award-winning stuff right there. Right? Okay. So that was 13. We're now on to, was that 12 or 13? I forget. I think that was 13. Yeah. This is 12. Another incredible book, comic art wise. Jimmy Olsen of the Giant Turtle Man. So it's a classic book. This one kind of has it all. It's got a really classic, character in Jimmy Olsen as Giant Turtle Man. You've got this incredible artwork here, the bridge collapsing and all that, the tugboat, city backdrop, incredible. And yeah, got a date stamp. Look at the fantastic condition of this book as well. Oof. On a 10-cent book, I mean, we might even get this graded. It's so beautiful looking. Um, yeah, I mean, this were to come back even like high mid grade, man. This is uh, got a hefty boost in the value of the book for sure. So yeah, this is one we would consider grading. I think a couple of the ones on this list are worth grading. This one, this one, obviously, these are even that Justice League. That's a nice book. I think that would also come back in a maybe a at least a fine plus. Yeah, I put this in the like, given the age of this book, this is definitely a fine plus. Could be depending on the grader, it could be more. Um, so yeah, I mean, definitely worth exploring. I think that could come back a 7.5 to be honest. Just looks fantastic. Um, all right, let's get into some signed books here. We got I got lucky with this find. I got this for $1. Can you imagine? Over at Astonishing Tales, got a Jackson Geis signed 1 of 5,000 signed copies of this beautiful looking Supergirl, Reign of Tomorrow. This is a Supergirl one shot. Oh no, 4-issue miniseries. Sorry, 4-issue miniseries, and just fantastic. So they're just like pulls at the heartstring kind of like books. Um, COA and everything. So yeah, I'm really fortunate to find this one for $1 of the COA and everything. It was just kind of crazy to me that I mean it has. I know why he put it in the dollar bin because it's you can see there's a pretty sizable some spine ticks right there that I think it was kind of like a bend in the book. So yeah, but to put in the dollar bin, that just like it's almost disrespectful to the book. But that's where we found it. I'm not complaining. That is number 11 on the list, right? How many more books we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9. So this is that was number 10 on the list. We're down to our top 10. Those are top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that was number 10. So this was number 10. And we're counting down to number 1. This is number 9 on the list. And the only reason this book really made or cracked the top 10 is because it's an Art Adams book. And it really is Art Adams was at the time, right? We're talking like this is around the mid 80s. Um, he was just one of the most coveted cover artists. He had come off a really successful um, comic book where he introduces Longshot. It's the Longshot miniseries, and then he just does all these great X-Men covers for Marvel. And he, again, he kind of just established himself as kind of the up and coming sort of cover artist. And then when John Byrne goes over to DC and starts on this sort of revamp of Superman, he enlists Art Adams to do the interiors on this. And it's Art Adams and Dick Giordano. I mean, that what a fantastic collaborative duo there, teaming up. So that's what it feels like. It just feels like a super team up. You got like Dick Giordano and Art Adams here working on the book. This is Action Comics Annual #1. This is the reset of the annual. Sequencing. Again, 3 really classic creators on the book. John Byrne wrote the script on this. Cry Vampire. Again, signed book. Really cool. And #1 issue of Action Comics Annual. Rebirth in 1987. So this is 87 annual. It was a good year for Superman, 1987, because you just had so many things happening in the post-crisis era of Superman. Just, he had 3 or 4 of his own titles again. It was just, moving toward all the things that happened in 1987 would have a direct correlation to Superman's death. So it's all relevant. It's all significant, and it starts right here in the year 1987. All right, that was number 9. Number 8. I love this book. This is another book, another Neil Adams classic cover here. This is an early cameo appearance of Darkseid. I think this is the 2nd cameo, if I'm not mistaken. But again, it's a fantastic Neil Adams cover. You see just the emotion in Superman's face. He's really just kind of fearful of what the little killer Superman's going to do to him. So, yeah, Jimmy not being a pal there. And we get the benefit from this fantastic visual. This is another book where we are kind of tempted to grade it. Just, it's fantastic. So yeah, it when it comes into focus, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's just a really really nice looking book there. Doesn't even need a clean or a press. It's already nice looking. So very happy with that pickup. All right, so we're down to the last 4, 5, 6, 7. Down to the last 7 books, and I mean, this is just, I don't even have to say. I don't even talk about this book. I'll just show it to you. That is number 7. It's number 7 on the list. Just gonna let you look at it. I'm going to talk about this one. It's Adam Hughes. It's Supergirl. It's a signed book. Enough said. All right. That was seven. All right. We're down to the top six pickups of 2026. The top six. And I'm going to make myself big here, showing off number six and five. And this was, again, part of the Big B trade here, where we picked up two very enormous, heavy slabs here. It's like PSA, again, great slabs, but I don't know how practical these are. These are rather heavy. And, but yeah, we got some Alex Ross signed books, one in a 9.2, the other, oops, the other in a 9.8. And both Superman 1 homage covers here. Jerry Siegel homage. Sorry, Joe Shuster homage. It's got Joe Shuster homage. And I I wish I could say, I mean, I prefer this one for obvious reasons. But I also love that. It's a different, it just has a different vibe. So they both kind of carry different vibes. This one is obviously the classic uh, golden age vibe. This one is just sort of more contemporary. I think this one just features Ross's talents a little more. And they're both great books, but again, both signed by Alex Ross. These are 6 and 5 on the list. Really, really nice books. Really nice books, by the way. All right. Well, we're down to our last 4 books, and these are all big. These are all big books. I mean, so the next 2 books I'm going to show off are ones that popped up on half price books, and ones I'd been eyeing, but they're priced. I mean, had they were they, you know, with the my comic budget coming in the summer, and had these books remained in the case through now, I definitely would have gotten these books with any money. I think I could have probably picked these up both for $100. So at that price, I would have gone, and yeah, we would have spent the money on the books. But at the time, I didn't have any money, and I'm just kind of like, oh man. I was like thinking about it. Kept kind of coming back to have Bryce books and just looking at the books and leaving. No one was really touching the books or picking them up. And then that's when I met Jens, and Jens was kind of asking me, "Hey, which book should I pick up?" And I was really, at the time I was. It's not like I wasn't married to the books. It wasn't like I was going to be like. I didn't have money, so I was just like, if I'm not going to pick him up, might as well let this great guy get him and benefit from a great pickup. Because I just told him, like, look at the condition, and it looks really good. They're major first appearances. And Jens was like, yeah, sure, they look good. And then he picked them up. And then I was like, I wonder if he'd trade him to me. Because if he's not married to it didn't sound like he was all that into Superman. He was just trying to flip books and stuff. If I propose like a trade to him, he might be open to that. So that's exactly what we did. We just got kind of talking, and more important than the trade, it's Unyoung. destiny, fate, and fate brought us together, and now it's like we're just best buds. We're best comic book buds, and that's the best bud to have, actually. Just someone who, I have a lot of great community people, um, but many of them are on YouTube. They're hard. It's really hard to meet up with people like fanboy when we get a chance, man. I'm just looking forward to that time with you. Um, and we'll connect virtually, but it's kind of like, you know you just don't have somebody like that to just meet up with, hang out with, and go hunting comic books with. But yeah, Jens, as we started talking, we started hanging out, and now it's like our weekly ritual, and it's making me poor, actually. Because of Jens, I picked up, again, a lot of these books were just pickups, um, from being out with Jens. But yeah, I can attribute our trade here. Let's get this one going here. Um, we picked up DC Comics Presents 26. This is the first appearance of the new Teen Titans, and huge key, huge key. Because it's like a preview of all the whole team together. Um, so it's a big book, and again, it's fantastic condition here. I don't see all that much wrong with the book. There might be a spine tick here and there, but yeah, I mean, the minimum this would come back in is maybe a VF plus copy, but in all likelihood higher than that. We'll see. That was number 4, and also part of the trade. I only got 2 books, and I traded away quite a lot of value for these. But this is I mean, I picked up a second copy of this recently. It's kind of beat up, uh, bad spine roll with the pinup missing and everything. But even happy to pick up that low grade copy. But this is solid mid to high grade copy here. First Parasite. This does have the pinup in it. So I mean, read it, grade it, and come back. It'd be a complete book. It'd be probably I don't know. I'd put this in like an 8.5. This is another book we'd want to potentially. And I think both of these books we'd want to potentially grade. So I'm thinking of like maybe with a summer budget. I mean, I told myself I wouldn't grade books, but with the summer budget, maybe we just um, grade a bunch of books. I don't know. I'm tempted. I'm tempted to do it. But number 3 on our list is First Parasite Action 340. There we go. All right. Whew. Man. Man, oh man. All right. Well, this one we got off of eBay recently, along with the Supergirl Adam Hughes signed book. Both of them are from different sellers, but we got them off eBay, and they arrived at the same time. This one is a Neil Adams cover. It's Kurt Swan and Murphy Anderson interiors, and the story is, I believe, Denny O'Neil on this one. It might be Leo Dorfman. It's one of those two, but it's this great 70s era. I think it was like 1972, somewhere around there. 71. So it's great 71 era Superman book. Great era for Superman, by the way. It doesn't get enough credit for how good it was. Um, on the Denny O'Neil side, some of the ongoing story arcs that Denny O'Neil had put into play, uh, fantastic stuff. Leo Dorfman, not so much. I just feel like they're two very different writers, kind of different approaches. Leo Dorfman's books or stories felt a little. They felt into like these sort of I don't know, these into these like it feel like recycled tropes, or just stories that weren't all that original. But you didn't get that sense from what Danny O'Neill was doing. So again, it doesn't create a lot of continuity when we got every other issue doing something kind of more, old fashioned type Superman story versus sort of a newer voice, a newer tone and direction for the character through Denny O'Neill's contributions. So you just get this sort of staggered, like, where's this book going? You kind of need only one writer, or one creative team working on the book to create that sense of continuity and consistency. But you had just different teams working, with different styles and methods. And sometimes, again, but it didn't work all that well. But this is a fantastic classic story here. I'm in the pages here. The Electronic Ghost of Metropolis. Um, yeah, it's kind of the TV era of Superman. The Metropolis graduates from a newspaper to like a television station, and it's um, really the great thing about this book is that it has an interior signature by Kurt Swan, which is a 101. There's no signed copies known, none on the census, nothing I could find on eBay related to a Kurt Swan signature on this book. Not even a Neil Adams signature. So this is just one of those rare signed books, and we have Kurt Swan's incredible signature here on the interior. And so this is just, I mean, this would have been my top pickup of the year, a 101 Kurt Swan signature. Kurt Swan's the GOAT when it comes to Superman creators. He's just done more Superman books than anyone. And that will be a title he will always hold, because today's artists, there's no chance. There's just no way you can, as an artist. No, no. First of all, DC Comics is not going to give you reign to just write 4 decades worth of stories and art. Um, so it's just, that's kind of what you're contending with if you want to top Kurt Swan as the top creator on Superman. There's just no, just one of those like kind of Babe Ruth type records or place in the history books. There's just never going to be a person that displaces the legend of Babe Ruth, and that's kind of holds true for Kurt Swan. No one's going to displace him. Arguably, you could say, like, qualitatively, Neil Adams, in terms of cover work, cover art, there's an argument to be had there. But that's just covers. If you're talking interiors and just working on the book. No one even comes close. So just to have a signed book by the legend is very satisfying. All right. And the number one book, the biggest pickup of the year, and probably, I don't know. I got a first Lana Lang, but nothing against Lana. I love me Lana. I love me a Lana Lang. But Bizarro, I got the first appearance of Bizarro, and for me, I'm sorry. You can have Doctor Doom. You can have Thanos. Outside of, and you can have Magneto. When you talk about villains, and you're talking about like the top villains, there's probably the Joker, Lex Luthor, and then Bizarro. Like if you're just doing a short list of like top villains, you got to go with the DC. First off, you got to go with the DC villains, um, because they're your they're your grandpa they're your grandpapa's villains. They're your great grandpappy's villains, right? Just the longevity of these, uh, like Joker or Lex. But surprisingly, late to the game is Bizarro. But you can be late to the game, but in terms of your footprint or impact as a villain on the books or the DC universe, I mean, Bizarro's second to none. I mean, this guy, he's the backwards or mirror version of Superman. He's given his own freaking planet. He shows up constantly. He's been referenced in uh, comic books, movies, television, toys, read along books, cartoons. I mean, you name it, he's there as just one of the mainstays of the Legion of Doom, mainstays of decent DC villainry, and he's just fun. I mean, really, he's just this like Frankenstein esque kind of dumb, you know, kind of backwards version of Superman, sort of the antithesis. But in terms of power, like he's Bizarro is weak to blue kryptonite, right? Bizarro is weak to blue kryptonite, and Superman's weak to green kryptonite. Um, but yeah, and Superman, like blue kryptonite, I think alters you, like it mutates you. So you like mutate physically when you're exposed to blue kryptonite, if I'm not mistaken, from my memory of the cartoons. But yeah, it's not. Again, like I said, like there are very few villains more recognizable than um, what we have here. Again, just to pick up first Bizarro, man, I just sometimes I gotta pinch myself to know I have this book, and this is a great copy too. We've got some creasing there. Okay, got a lot of edge wear there. So, we're probably putting the grade. I initially said this is a 3.0. I think I was a little harsh given the age of the book, and it just does look a lot better than, it doesn't present like a low grade book per se. It actually presents pretty nicely. just when you kind of get into the issues, it's got a lot of creasing. That's its main thing. The staples are barely hanging on, but they're it's attached, and yeah, this book hasn't been pressed or anything like that. So I don't know. I just feel like probably put it at a 4.0. I mean, it would depend on the grader, but I could see this come back 4.0, 4, maybe even a 4.5, given the age of the book. But yeah, what a nice copy of First Bizarro. Now, this is not the first Bizarro, it's the first adult Bizarro because a Superboy version of Bizarro is introduced first. And in that one, he's really like this sort of like Frankensteinish, like monstrosity that falls to his death. Um, and yeah, so we get the first appearance and then the last appearance of death, first and death in one issue. And then, they said, you know what, we like Bizarro, let's bring him back. And they bring him back here in Action Comics, and the rest is history. We're going to keep this one alive, and he's live and well today. Um, I think the best sort of best rendition of Bizarro to now is the Superman and Lois Lane series that was a TV series. I think it's called like Superman and Lois or something like that. Um, but uh, I think one of the season ending is, I think it was the second to the last season or something. And the season ending of I didn't watch that series or any of the episodes. I might have watched episode one and seen some clips on YouTube, but it's not something I followed. I didn't think that Superman was all that great. Superman's not supposed to have a 5 o'clock shadow in every scene. Um, he's supposed to be like clean shaven, so yeah, I just didn't like the casting of that show, and that can impact whether you like it or not. Just didn't. I forget what the guy actor's name is. He's nothing. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure he did play a fantastic role. He seems like a great actor. Just for me, he wasn't Superman. So when I see him cast and just trying to play the character, sometimes it's a hard sell, and it was a hard sell for me. But yeah, he one thing that was really well done in that series is they brought Bizarro, and the Bizarro that dude played was pretty cool. I mean, I think it was kind of like somewhat CGI generated Bizarro, but they had it down. They had it with like the flaking skin and everything, and just this menacing, kind of grotesque, you know, angular, uh, you know, characterization of Bizarro. It was really, I think, well executed. So that's up to now. That's been the best outside of the cartoons. It's been the best Bizarro reference. But Bizarro was in Smallville. It was like a 2 episode arc. Um, I want to say in season 8 or season 7, where they introduce also Supergirl for that one season. That was just a weird. Supergirl shows up and then is written off the show. It was just a weird way to do it. But yeah, Tom Welling played Bizarro, kind of this sort of like, I don't know. He could be normal looking but glitch, and it would be Bizarro. So we'll have the true Bizarro in the sense of the comics. But one thing I will say, I think James Gunn set it up to where we may get Bizarro because it was Ultraman, quote unquote Ultraman, Superman's clone that he fights at the end, and then Superman traps his clone in a pocket universe black hole. Okay, so they defeat Bizarro and he gets whisked or sucked away into this black hole, um, pocket universe black hole. And so we don't know if he's alive or dead. But there's a lot of internet chatter and all this. Um, Given that Bizarro's modern origin, we're not talking about his Silver Age origin because in the Silver Age origin, there's no cloning or anything like he kind of shows up as this sort of mirror image Superman, and he's not even mirror image. He's got essentially the same suit on. But they later on adapt his character, but he comes from a bizarro world, a planet of bizarros. Um, Everybody on the planet is like a bizarro Superman. They're like firemen that are bizarros. They're like they just all have like their own jobs. There's women bizarros, baby bizarros. It's a planet of bizarros, and but the important thing is like his story kind of evolves, and they eventually create a backward S, um, create this whole kind of origin around uh, the planet he comes from, his psychology, why he kind of needs to. He just needs to be loved, right? He's trying to do his best to be like Superman. He just can't do it. He just he's bizarre. He's too bizarre to effectively be Superman. Um, but that was the traditional sort of origin and telling of Bizarro. In the modern take, he's literally just like a clone, like a Frankenstein, um, genetic clone gone wrong of Superman. And he's a lot stronger, a lot dumber, kind of like a raging Hulk version of Superman. So really interesting take, I think. Uh, from a storytelling standpoint, obviously a great character because if you bring in the elements of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, right, it's like you just see the correlation. He's kind of built in man's image, but he's a man-made. It's kind of like AI. He's basically an AI version of Superman without the AI, without the intelligence. He's just the AD, or what's the opposite of intelligent? Intelligence, AS, artificial stupidity, something like that. Um, that's kind of what he is, and again, I think there's a lot of if James Gunn does bring him in as a villain, it's you can bring in just a lot of kind of farcical stuff into it. You can bring in Mitzelplick. You can bring in um, like Batmite. Just really it would just be like a farcical. I don't know. You could kind of make Bizarro a little bit a little bit terrifying, but at the same time, put him in like these like because he's dumb and he just kind of like um, probably talking backwards as well, like me, but he had this like Grimlock like voice. Me Grimlock, me Bizarro, like you could just do a lot of like funny kind of comical stuff with that, um, as well as bring in like again just a bunch of like whimsical Superman villains or foes, like Toyman. You can just bring in a bunch of like whimsical stuff, kind of make him Superman fight a bunch of like a barrage of like weird, bizarre villains. So it's something that could work. But again, lot of room here for this character. I think we will see him in something movie related, and that's kind of why we saw potential in this book. You know, when Bizarro's not going away. Bizarro's about as here to stay as Superman is. So for me, you know, this is again outside of Lex Luthor. It's Bizarro. Who else are you gonna put up there with Lex as Superman's foe? It's like Darkseid, Lex, and Bizarro. Those are the top three. Um, and that's it. That's it. Those are the three guys. Top three villains right there. In that order: Lex, Bizarro, Darkseid. Um, so yeah. Uh, well, no. Okay, maybe Lex, Brainiac, and then Bizarro, and then Darkseid. So those are the top four. Lex, Brainiac, and they're kind of introducing them in that order, right? Lex came first, Brainiac came second. It would just they kind of teased again with the Ultraman. Um, Bringing him back as Bizarro would just create a formidable, you know, kind of rivalry there for Superman. So, all right, well, there you go. Those are my top 26 pickups in 2026. And man, has it been this? We got a whole 6 months left. Um, so I'm just really curious to see what else we pick up this summer. Um, we're gonna have a little bit of a summer budget, hopefully a little bit more, depending on um, whether Jens and I kind of get a deal going here for one of my books. But yeah, I mean, either way, we should have something to pick up this summer through the summer. It's a summer of Supergirl. Um, so we're just going to continue doing what we do. So thanks for joining, guys. Fanboy, Ron, Tyler. And yeah, if you catch this on the rewind, just leave a chat. Let me know if you enjoyed it, thumbs up or something, and continue to see what we pick up this year. All right. Peace out, guys. See you in the next one.